Alright everybody, and welcome to another tutorial of musical crafting with Mr. Myers. This is going to be a quick walkthrough on how to build the alto saxophone cover. If you are at home doing this, please don't hesitate to take your saxophone, kind of lay it out, get an eyeball of where you're going to do it, maybe take a piece of chalk and mark your shirt if you want. Alright everyone, step one is going to be to cut off the right sleeve of the shirt. So you can see here I'm using my rotary cutter to take that right sleeve off on the inside of the stitching. Step two, we're going to pretty much cut from the center of the collar to like the left third of the shirt, and we're just going to pretty much remove that whole left side there. Step three is we are going to take just the bottom right corner off under where the bell would be on the saxophone. Now, step four, we're going to actually be closing some of the holes up on the right side, and we're going to use duct tape for this. The trick that I've found is that if you place the glue side facing up, and if you slide the shirt over, just halfway over the tape, and you press down, then you can actually fold the tape over to the front side of the shirt, and then press real hard. Make sure you get a really good seal on that, because you want to make sure you're sealing that back to the front. Now you can also use a stapler to reinforce the seams. And you'll see here I'm throwing maybe 2 or 3 staples in, and then I'm just ripping off little tiny pieces of duct tape to kind of cover up those staples to make sure that they don't get caught on your instrument, on your case, on your clothing. So just kind of covering the little pieces of metal that are sticking out from the staple there with an extra little section of duct tape. You can do this on all of your seams. Just a heads up, I only show it on this one. We're going to now seal the top side of the saxophone cover. And again, glue side up, slide the shirt over, fold, and seal. Here I am reinforcing it with staples again. This time I don't go back and cover up those staple holes, but you would want to do that. Step 5, we are going to trim the collar. This is really important. Do not cut the seam at the top. Where the collar actually attaches to the shoulder of the shirt. So I'm going to come down about an inch from the shoulder, and I'm going to cut around the bottom of the collar. I'm going to just lift that up out of the way. And then same thing on the back side. I'm going to follow just under the collar there, and I'm going to cut that tiny little chunk of fabric out from under the collar. Next, we are going to trim any of the excess material from where we made that cut on the collar down to our bottom corner here on the left side. So we're just getting rid of all this extra bit. So now we should have our shirt or our bag with the collar sticking out the left side. Now we're just going to seal up the bottom of the shirt. Again, I'm going glue side facing up, sliding the top over it, sealing with a good amount of force, and trimming any excess duct tape off with my scissors. You can reinforce with staples and just trim your excess duct tape off the back. Step 8, we're going to reinforce the front and back seams. Now, what this means is we are going to actually open I'm going to call it a shirt or the bag, whatever you want to call it. We're going to actually open it up, and we're going to kind of set the front side out of the way to start. Sometimes you have to adjust it a little bit, but make sure that when you pull this over the tape, that you're not taping both sides of the shirt together. We want to fold that tape over, and we are only taping or reinforcing the back side of the shirt here. You can see that the front of the shirt is still loose, it's not attached. All I did was just reinforce the back. I'm going to flip the shirt over, and I'm going to do this again. So we should have actually 2 pieces of duct tape, one on the back side of the shirt and one on the front side of the shirt here. This is going to kind of create the sleeve for our hands to go through. So we want to make sure that you definitely wouldn't want to tape the whole thing closed, or there'd be no way to get your saxophone into the bag here. So again, I'm laying the duct tape down, glue side up, folding it over, and reinforcing it. You can reinforce this with staples, but now we should have a front seam and a back seam. Step 9, seal the bottom third of this. Pretty much, you might want to put your saxophone in here and test fit it, but anything that's under my right hand on the saxophone, I'm going to close that up with an extra piece of duct tape here. So I'm eyeballing this. I've built a couple of these. I kind of know where it's going to sit. So it's, maybe the bottom quarter of the bag. So you can see that we still have the top part open for our left and right hand to be able to reach in and grab the keys. We've got this extra material at the top. The last and final step is going to be the shoulder of the shirt has a seam on it, but we want to actually reinforce that with duct tape, because what I found is if you just leave the stitching up there by itself, it will pull under the octave key when you put some weight on the bag, or as you're kind of getting your saxophone adjusted into it. So I'm going to reinforce the top seam, and there we go. Time for a test fit. So there's your saxophone cover. This is all sealed. This is where the saxophone will go in, and I will cut to a demo of me playing on one now. Alright everybody, I am back here at Unami with my saxophone. I've got my bag that we made last night. Again, we've got that duct tape seam on the top, and it's tied on to the neck here with the little piece of the collar. And the back is open for your hands to go in. And now we will be able, if we don't fall over, to play with our keys covered and with everything kind of kept contained around the instrument. So if you have any questions about the design, you can see pretty much how everything that we did last night fits over the saxophone here. And it shouldn't hang up on any of the keys. Everything works pretty good.